TuneCore, generating over $200 million. That's just in the last 2 years. So when people tell you music isn't selling, bullshit. When they tell you artists aren't getting money, bullshit, they are. Artists are actually now making more money than any point in the history of the music industry. More artists are making more money. It's true. It's the record labels are making less money. The record labels, it's just a fact. They're making less money because there's no middleman between you and the money being generated. But the other thing that I learned is, despite selling $400 million, generating $200 million off of the recording of the song, right? That's the P, if you guys remember from the video. You guys can kill that if you want. It turns out there was another $100 to $150 million earned by these TuneCore artists out in the marketplace because they were the songwriter. And when you're a songwriter, you make more money. There's a separate royalty that gets paid to songwriters. It's called McKinsey. That's what these are about over here. This is kind of what I wanted to touch on. I'll get to it in a second. And I was like, what the fuck? Why aren't these people getting their money? To be perfectly blunt. And so I spent the last year of my life trying to figure it out, and basically what happens is anytime a song that you wrote, whether it's your recording of the song or somebody else covering it, gets streamed or downloaded, you as a songwriter are owed a separate royalty. That royalty gets paid to third-party companies that you probably never heard of. Ever hear of Jazzrack? Okay, that's the collection agency in Japan. Every single time one of your songs is streamed through Spotify, download through iTunes, download through Amazon, in a YouTube video, every single time that happens, Jazzrack gets paid them going online to consume music. Consumers have changed the way they get music. And whenever that happens, it changes the whole industry. So it's a bit more radical this time. You go back in the old days, you had wax spools, and then you moved into vinyl. And then from vinyl, you moved into cassettes, and yeah, along the way we had 8-track as well. Hardware device, the Walkman comes along, cassettes move from 2% of the market to 48% of the market, and we all know cassettes sound like shit relative to a piece of vinyl. God forbid they had high-end, or low-end, or any end. Something mid-range, it's horrible. I mean, yeah, Dolby was awesome. This is going to go on the net, they're going to hate me. I'm sorry, Dolby, just, you know, you took out the hiss, but geez, it was just like this muffle. Anyway, so then you move from cassette into the first digital format, CD. Right? And each time this happened, it sort of changed. There was explosive growth. Actually, when things got into CD, you had even more music being distributed, more music being consumed. And once CD players came down in price, and they had this sort of format that everyone can use, and they became ubiquitous, you know, music sales took off even more. They really did. And then you moved into this new format of completely digital, where people could go online and download a song, and Napster educated everybody how to do that. And think about that. Think about how the original Napster trained us all for the first time to download music, you know, for those of you that weren't geek engineers already doing this, download music to a computer and then listen to it on your computer. Nobody was doing that. Just like no one was walking around with a pair of headphones listening to a cassette prior to the Walkman. Right? And then once that happened, then came the digital devices, and then came iTunes and the iPods and the iPhones, and digital download sales just, you know, blew through the roof. And as that happened, as it became easier and cheaper and quicker for people to get music, guess what happened? More people began to get music and consume the music, and more music was downloaded, and more artists began to get listened to. And then after it moved from that, downloads, all of a sudden we're moving into town. Right now we're moving to the next phase of the music industry, which is streaming. Spotify, IMSTA, the new Apple service that's coming up, YouTube, right? People are getting their music on demand as a stream because they've got iPhones and Rokus and Apple TVs and all the hardware devices. We're all connected 24/7. Cache memories on our devices and fucking things the size of my fingernail that can hold 50 gigs. I mean, geez, when I was in college, well, never mind. Back in the old days. So, the future of this industry is streaming. And the future of this industry is, it's democratized. You're all allowed in. There's nobody anymore that says you're not good enough. You know, fuck you, I'll let them decide for me. I don't need you telling me that there's a 2% hit rate and a 98% failure rate at the major record labels to tell me whether or not I'm good. How many of you passed on the Beatles, by the way, before they ended up? How many passed on Alanis Morissette? How many passed on the Beach? You know, go through the, you know, the system. Throwing that out there to remind all of you that marketing and promotion, which is what they do and they can do very well, isn't the key to success. The key to success is your art. It's the song. If the song causes reaction, you're going to get some fame off of that, and then you get to monetize your fame. You can decide how. You can sell your music, give it away, you can gig, you can sell merch, you can get endorsement deals, you can do advertising deals, you can sell stems. I mean, the list goes on and on. Actually, Future Music Coalition.